I've always been drawn to the idea of having different people sitting around a table connected by this commonality.
So tonight we are featuring produce from Lancaster Farm Fresh, co-op based in Lancaster. Look around the outside, we shade it in.
Food is creative, it's delicious, it's engaging. It is bringing people to a shared experience from different backgrounds. And I also love the idea of kind of playing and just making something from nothing. I'm Amanda Shulman, and I'm the chef owner of Her Place Supper Club and the co-owner of My Lou in Philadelphia. There's something so real about making something with your hands and then cooking it and serving it to people with your hands. And the special thing about this place is you can do every single aspect of it. So I made the pasta dough, I made the pasta, I rolled the pasta, I'm tossing the pasta, I'm cooking the pasta, I'm plating the pasta, and then I'm putting that plate in front of you. To see something come full circle, that's part of the experience I really relish. I'm gonna get 6 pounds.
6 pounds, okay.
Philly is real, it's authentic, there's no bullshit.
Thank you. Nice.
People tell you how it is, and it's a safe space to try things. People will notice that there's a lot of pink in our logo and our branding, and that is kind of my view to the restaurant industry that I came up in. I had pink shoes, my notebooks were pink, and I was ridiculed for it. So it's okay to be feminine. You should showcase all parts of yourself. Chefs and success can look very differently, and sometimes they even look way better in pink.
My name is Aimee Koran. I'm a multimedia artist. I make sculptures and photographs and printmaking, and I'm interested in the objects that are closely associated with mothering and pregnancy. Giving birth was transformational for me in wanting to scream from the rooftops, "Look what I have done!" I mean, I was so inspired just knowing I grew a person inside of, I grew a human being inside of my body. Not really doing anything special, just going about my day, going on my runs. Materials are found in the everyday for me, the familiar, mundane moments of mothering, and really inform the materials that I am using, mostly because of access to them, being surrounded by stuffed animals, by my own body material. When I think about mark making, I immediately reference my own body, and that's the first thing I go to, all of the marks that my female body makes in its lifetime. I see my work as storytelling, a collection of stories. Sometimes they're personal narratives, sometimes they're community-oriented, sometimes they're stories of other families, sometimes they're stories within my own family. I am a proud Philadelphian, born and raised here. Both of my grandmothers worked in factories. My one grandmother worked for a company that made hats, and my other grandmother worked sewing military uniforms. So for me, to be able to be an artist and make work that is honoring the techniques that they taught me and then elevate that craft, that brings me a lot of joy to just play a small role.
What excites me about the creative scene in Philly is that it's ever evolving. I think Philly is a great city where people stay and people are constantly moving here. So I think with that, there's this really great push and pull that's happening right now where people are establishing really small independent galleries or opening new spaces, doing new events that kind of challenge the conversation. It feels always in flux in this really great way. And then it also feels really small and connected where I never feel like I'm more than 2 people away from someone I would like to work with. And people feel very approachable, which is great. I'm Shannon Maldonado, founder and creative director of Yowie and Yowie Hotel. We recently opened the space that we're sitting in right now, which is a multifaceted building. We have a hotel, we have a shop, we have a cafe, and all of those things I touch at different points of the day. The way I place myself in the tradition of women creators is that I think when I was growing up, I was always looking for people to inspire me or people to help me feel like things were possible. And now that I'm somewhat on the other side of that, I'm always looking for other people that I can give opportunities to or bring into the fold. I do think that's a big part of being a woman in this creative field, making sure that we make space for others.
My name is Peri Law. I'm a printmaker and teaching artist in Philadelphia. My work focuses on my identity and my heritage, exploring the past and seeing what I can create in the future as well. I use a lot of vases in my work. I see vases as vessels, as containers. I also see myself as a vessel. A vessel is what carried my family across the ocean to get away from war. I use vases as these kinds of objects for storytelling to happen in. All of the figures that you see in my work is myself because I am telling stories about myself, but I also like to place myself in the big world of the art historical canon and be inspired by it. So I have some pieces where I am wearing a qipao, which is a traditional Chinese dress, with the imagery of the vase that I am holding instead. Something that's really important to me in my practice is giving myself and my artwork agency, because I feel like that's something that can often be taken away from people who are people of color, who are women, who are artists, and all these other things. It's really important for me to hold on to these memories that I want to create. When I first moved to Philly, I got to learn how big the art community and the art scene is, and really appreciating that this city has so much creativity to offer, and that if you just look for it and if you meet one other person, you get connected to this whole world of really creative art and talent and amazing people. So Philly has really grown on me, and I think Philly is a place that I am very thankful that I ended up in, because I really feel like I've grown up as both a person and an artist here.
Often there will be a sort of, there will be a thing that I either remember or sort of thought of, and it's in my head, and I think that would be a good painting. And then from there I'll make a drawing, and I will add in found images, looking through old photographs and finding little bits in the photographs to incorporate. When we recall something, the act of remembering it, it changes our memory. It always does. That's sort of the way that memory works. There are all these other little bits of what was going on in your life at the time that you recall the memory that's sort of now baked into that memory, and the next time you recall it, the same thing happens. My name is Becky Suss, and I am an oil painter, and I live in Philadelphia, and I primarily make large paintings of domestic interiors. I had this moment, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, where I was making a lot of work about the history of my own family. And I was thinking about my grandmother, my mom's mother, who I never met, trained to be an opera singer. And then the war broke out. And in order to be an opera singer, you have to go to Europe. She couldn't go. It was during World War II. And then she met my grandfather and got married, and it was game over. And I started to think about these women who ended up being homemakers, and they raised their families, but how many of them had that unlived life? So I think of myself as the beneficiary to generations of women like that who didn't get a chance to do what they wanted to do, and the ones that did, most of the time were the ones that didn't end up having children. I'm so lucky that I got to choose my life, got to choose to have my one kid. He's in school all day. So the most joyful time is when I'm not in here now. It's when I'm with them, when I'm outside, when, the three of us together on a beautiful spring day.